My name is Meredith Clark-Lewis, and this is my final capstone video for Education 526 at Azusa Pacific University. When I first walked into Azusa Pacific University, Marietta Regional Center, I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but beyond that I wasn't sure what that entailed or how I was actually going to get there. There was once a point in my life when I was determined to be a nurse. I took all my prereqs and worked hard to get into nursing school. It was during my second semester of nursing school that I realized it was not for me. I knew I wanted to work with children, and teaching was the way to go. I researched many credential programs and decided to attend Azusa Pacific University. APU is driven by faith, and I have always felt that my God-given talent is patience and working with children. I knew APU was where I belonged. Initially, I enrolled in APU's combined mild and moderate disabilities credential and master's in special education program. It was during one of my credential courses that a speaker came in and discussed flipping the classroom. I was so intrigued that I requested to switch to the master's in digital teaching and learning program. Some of my favorite highlights of this program have been learning how to take quality camera and video shots, assembling many different instructional videos, learning about fun and educational apps to use in the classroom, and various technologies to enhance instruction. I have also learned about game-based learning and how to accommodate for students using Gardner's multiple intelligences. Overall, the digital teaching and learning program has prepared me to meet the needs of today's digital native generation. And through this process, I have met some wonderful instructors and made lifelong friends. Part of my capstone course was to create an action research plan. As a special education teacher, I frequently have a difficult time managing the different arrays of behaviors that I encounter on a daily basis. This research was conducted as a result of a student perception survey that uncovered an underlying struggle that a group of my students were having as a result of one student's frequent disruptive behavior. While I currently had a behavioral management plan in place, it appeared that this method alone was not conducive to optimal learning for the other students in this group. As a result of these findings, research was conducted in order to find an effective means to manage ADHD-related behaviors in the classroom. I started my plan by gathering baseline data of how often unwanted behaviors were occurring with this group of students. After conducting research, I found out that the use of visual cues has been found to be effective in decreasing unwanted behaviors. The visual cue I decided to try was drawing stars on the whiteboard. I had to begin by explaining to the students why I was using this new system in addition to the system I already had in place. I also explained to them how it was going to work and the undesired behaviors that would cause them to lose stars. When students were off task, talking when they should not be, were disruptive upon entering the classroom or during the lesson, or did not raise their hand before speaking, I would erase a star. The students earned credits if they had any stars remaining at the end of the lesson. I found having the visual cues in addition to the tally system I already had in place was beneficial to my students, especially the more disruptive groups. The students were motivated to keep their stars, and I was pleasantly surprised at how they entered the classroom quietly and tried to remain on task. I was surprised and pleased with the results of the implementation of a visual cue to aid in behavior management of students with ADHD. The students' disruptive behaviors dramatically decreased as a result of this method. Over a period of 3 weeks, the students' disruptive behaviors went from 15 all the way down to 5. The students liked the challenge, and I plan to continue to use this method for the duration of the school year. My curricular unit for this capstone course focused on developing an expository writing about sharks. I chose this topic because it's fun and interesting for third graders, and there's a lot that can be done with this topic. This curricular unit will provide students with the opportunity to develop an appreciation for life forms found in the ocean. Students will learn and gain an understanding of different types of sharks, their natural habitats, and methods of survival. Students will also learn about shark conservation and anatomy. Students will learn how to develop an expository essay based on all of the information they have learned during the 3-week time frame. WL chart. Students will also read an informational text about sharks and learn how to identify text features and key details. Students will also have the opportunity to create a word cloud using Wordle, composed of related vocabulary and facts they have learned about sharks. During week 2, the students will be introduced to research. They will view a SlideShare presentation called Rockin' Research and begin to conduct their own research on their Chromebooks. Students will also get to draw pictures of sharks with the use of an iPad application. Finally, students will conclude their research by watching a DVD movie called Shark Safari. During week 3, students will prepare to write their expository essays by first filling out digital graphic organizers. They will also learn how to compose proper paragraphs using a Hamburger paragraph template. Students will then begin to form their rough drafts of their expository essays. One of the students' final products is to create a Voki character. They will also record a small presentation with their Voki about sharks. On the final day, students will submit their final draft essays to the teacher, and as a class, will watch each other's Voki presentations. My experience at APU has been both memorable and educational. I do not just leave with only knowledge, but I leave with confidence and knowing that I am in fact living what I'm meant to do. APU has helped me grow, not just in my career, but spiritually. Thinking back to 2 years ago, when I first entered the Murrieta Regional Center, I am shocked at how far my life has come today. I am now working as a special education teacher, running my own specialized academic instruction program. There isn't a day that goes by that I am not thankful for my blessings, and I know that APU has played a big part in that. I would like to close out my capstone video with a special poem that represents my journey thus far. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a fellow turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow, you may succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer than it seems to a faint and faltering man. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup, and he learned too late when the night came down how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint in the clouds of doubt, and you never can tell how close you are. It might be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worst that you must not quit.